Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Hippie Healing TV. This episode is all about my wisdom tooth and why I'm not getting it removed, how to deal with the pain, the swelling, and to avoid getting an infection. Nowadays everybody gets their wisdom teeth removed and I'm not really sure what that's all about. I know that most of us have impacted wisdom teeth. Maybe we're just trying to avoid the pain that comes along with it, or we're trying to keep our smiles pretty, because I know if your teeth are really impacted that it can mess up the rest of them. I know I have my one tooth goes down a little bit there. I think it has something to do with the wisdom teeth pushing, but I'm not sure because I think that happened before I even started feeling the pain from my wisdom teeth. They've pushed their way in, and there was a lot of pain while it was happening. They're not done yet. I have the top two in. This bottom left one is working its way in, and today is probably, I'm gonna say, the very last day of a 10-day horrible, it wasn't as bad as it was other times before, but a wisdom tooth swelling and breaking through the skin movement. The top two teeth, although there was some soreness while they came in, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too big of a deal. I kind of sort of thought I might have had a headache, and then I realized, oh, maybe it's my wisdom teeth coming in. They're definitely coming in okay. But these bottom ones, and I think my bottom ones were more impacted than my top ones, and that's why the pain is so much more. And maybe also because the bottom ones get food stuck in them more, because gravity goes downwards, so the food gets stuck down here more so than up here. But the first time that I got this whole swelling situation going on, I thought that I had an infection, because when you look it up online, it'll tell you that it's very common that you get for the swelling to come from an infection, a little piece of food getting stuck under a flap of skin that is created by your wisdom tooth pushing through the gums. Well, the first few days that I had it this time, and this is my third time around, so I'm a lot smarter about it. The first few days that I had it, and this time I realized what it was. The swelling starts first, and on the second, I felt it the first day, and on the second day, it looked like I had cotton in my mouth. My boyfriend even asked me if I had something in my mouth, and I'm just like, no, it's just the wisdom teeth. On those days, I couldn't really speak too much. The pain was like there was a huge swelling. It was really, really sore, and I could feel it pretty much just pushing through. It wasn't really breaking skin, it was just pushing through. I felt soreness in the muscle, and I guess kind of in the bone, if that's how I could describe it. But you know, it was just sore, and I could feel it. So I ate a lot of smoothies, a lot of nice cream, cold things, easy to eat. The coldness helped with the swelling as well. It was very soothing. It felt great. The first time that this happened to me, I thought that I had an infection. You look it up online, and it tells you that the swelling in your mouth is coming from an infection. So my boyfriend's mother, who's a dental hygienist, she got me some antibiotics to help the swelling go down. I was really nervous, not knowing much about it, not hearing anything from anybody else, because everyone else that I knew just had their wisdom teeth removed. But I didn't want to go through that. So I got her to get me antibiotics, and I went through a set of antibiotics. The second time that this happened to me, I didn't want to take the antibiotics, so I decided to just keep it really, really clean and wait it out to see if it got worse and if I really needed them. It was in this second time around that I realized that it wasn't an infection, even though at first that's what I thought it was. It was not this infection. Swelling, for me, at least at first, is simply coming from your tooth pushing through your gums and trying to make its way into your mouth. That's going to cause enough swelling all on its own before the infection even comes. I knew at the beginning of this round it was going to be about a week and a half. That's normally how long it takes for the tooth to go through all of its processes. Every time, at least for me, that's how long it's been. About 10 days. The first few days you have this swelling and you can't really talk through most of it. But the beginning isn't as bad. You get the swelling and you can kind of talk. Cold drinks really help. And then this tooth starts to break through, so you have a mix of swelling and pain of the skin, and because it's like breaking through the skin. And then the next step, which is the worst, which is you still have a little bit of the swelling, and the swelling hurts, and then you have this flap of skin that is still existing, and you have to bite on it. It takes a while for that flap of skin to, I'm not sure what it does, if it gets bitten off and you end up swallowing it, or if it kind of just whittles away, or it moves to the side for your teeth to come in. Whatever it is, it takes like 2 or 3 days, maybe even more, for that flap of skin to leave. And while you're talking or eating, you might bite that flap of skin, and it hurts so incredibly bad. I was strong enough to not take painkillers, like Aleve. I was taking Aleve. I was strong enough to not take painkillers the first few days, but when I had that little flap of skin, I did take some Aleve. Only like one a day. I'm not really sure what the best painkiller would be for your stomach. I know aspirin's really bad on your stomach. I just took Aleve because I knew I would only have to take one for the whole day and it would feel really good. But I'm sure that there are better products. I'm not even sure. That company probably isn't. It probably tests on animals, and it's just what we had in the house. I wouldn't buy it, but next time, or if you have the option, go to a health food store, try to get some natural, vegan, cruelty-free pain relievers for this part if it hurts really bad. If not, you can kind of just tough it out. Learn to hold your mouth open, like I'm not that noticeable, but if you have your mouth open just slightly, you're not biting down, which is your normal resting mouth. When you're biting down, just a normal resting mouth, you'll be biting that little piece of skin. So you kind of learn to just keep your mouth slightly open throughout these few days. You have this swollen part, you're not really talking to anybody. It's pretty funny. But anyway, after that point, and that's kind of where I'm at now, and today's the last of it, the flap of skin is gone and you can comfortably clench or shut your mouth. And then it's just like open skin around the edge of the tooth, which is really, it's more irritating and annoying than it is like intensely painful. So you just kind of have to deal with that. My number one tip is don't mess with it. The more you mess with it, you touch it with your tongue and even with the toothbrush, it's gonna make it hurt. It's gonna make the pain last a lot longer. If you just kind of leave it alone, it does its thing and gets over it much faster. So my first tip is to leave it alone. My second tip is to keep it really clean. You're going to want to brush as normally as you do, just regular like you do, but be really careful when you're back there, not to irritate it with the thing, but still to keep it clean. After every time you've eaten food. And I guess I didn't really do this too much with the smoothies and ice cream, but every time I ate food like that had like rice or pieces in it, particles, I could feel the particles of food getting stuck back in under this flap of skin. So you just want to take a sip of water and swish it around in your mouth to help get the food out of that. But don't swish it too hard, because even like a hard swish will hurt that place in your mouth. It just hurts so bad, and you were trying to clean it out and make it better, but it actually made it worse. So don't swish too hard, but just give it a little gargle, a little swish to get all the food out of that spot so that you don't get the infection. If you get the infection and you have natural remedies at home, you could definitely heal the infection, keep it clean, whatever. But if you can't, and it becomes really bad, you might have to go to the doctor and take some antibiotics. My second tip is if the swelling gets so big and so unbearable, if you gargle salt water and a very high concentration of salt in this water. Not too salty that it burns your taste buds off like I tried to do, but it's as salty as you can handle. Almost can't handle it, but as salty as you can handle, warm water, put it to that side of your mouth and gently gargle it. The swishing salt water will permeate through the skin and help release the fluid that's stuck in there, and it is phenomenal. Even though it is kind of painful and it's a little bit irritating to do it, it's phenomenal the difference that it makes. If your mouth is so swollen and it just hurts so bad and you can't really shut your mouth and there's just pain there, do the salt water thing, maybe like 3 times in a row, swish it around as long as you can, really warm, salty water, and you'll be surprised at how much swelling goes down. My third tip, even though I already said it before, was to drink a lot of smoothies and eat a lot of nice cream, things that are creamy and soft, especially cold, and things that aren't so full of particles. When I tried to eat rice on this few days when I had the skin flap, it was really annoying. I had to try to keep the rice on the side of my mouth. And who wants to think that hard while you're eating? You just want to eat, you know? And then I would always get, no matter how hard I tried, I would get particles stuck in it, and that's not cool, that's not fun, having to swish it out with the water, and then the swishing makes it hurt even worse. So I would just say, obviously you might still want to eat other food, and that's not a big deal. You can eat food throughout the entire process, but if you want to make it easier on yourself, eat more smoothies. You can even go a day full of smoothies and ice cream. I'm sure it's really, I've done it before, and it's really not a bad thing. It tastes great, it makes you feel really good. Stick until like do it all raw, fruit cleanse. You can do soups and things like that, also really good to eat while you're, I'm sure the heat even helps. The heat is very soothing from a soup. My fourth tip is just to use an ice pack during the swelling. If it's swelling so much, just put some ice on it and it'll make it feel a lot better. My fifth tip is don't talk. The best is it's okay to talk a little bit, but when you start finding yourself going through a complete thought or a full sentence or more like a full-on paragraph, you'll notice that it starts to get really sore. If you're having an intense conversation with somebody, something that you just want to keep talking and keep adding your input, you'll notice it starting to hurt more and more. Maybe you'll have a weird little lisp while you're trying to talk because you want to keep your mouth kind of open, and that's crazy annoying. But obviously if you want to talk, you can deal with it and find your way, but try to avoid talking as much as you can to just help it rest, relax, and heal on its own without the irritation of talking. Tip number 6 is to stay hydrated. You can't heal yourself if you're not hydrated. Your body runs much better on a well-oiled machine, on a well-hydrated system. So if you want this whole process to happen as quickly and as easily as possible, I highly recommend drinking a whole lot of water. Try to get up to a gallon a day, maybe some 3 liters a day, something like that. But try to drink a lot of water, because while your mouth is hurting, it's going to kind of make you not want to drink or eat. The smoothies and ice cream feel really good, but you don't really want to put too much in your mouth. You just don't feel like it. But try to get past that and still drink a lot of water, because it will help the symptoms be relieved, and it'll help the whole process speed up and happen and get over with a lot faster. So the reason that I didn't want to get my wisdom teeth removed, one, was because just the whole idea of like going under, getting surgery is weird to me. Also, my boyfriend has had his wisdom teeth removed, and he describes getting the food and you have like holes in the back of your mouth and you get food stuck in the holes, and it just kind of sounds really weird. But really the main reason is because I try to live as naturally as possible, as close to nature as possible. And if we were all born with these teeth, there must be some sort of a reason for them. I find it really ironic that they call them wisdom teeth, as they must not be too smart if they're growing all impacted as they are when most people's mouths. Maybe it's a lack of wisdom tooth, or maybe the tooth is to show your level of wisdom by the time you reach a certain age. This is all just a theory, but in Eastern medicine they say that any disease is just a disorder from the universe. If you are eating too yin or yang, your nose and face will crook one way or another. This might have some to do with genetics, but for the most part your parents were eating similar to the way you're eating because they raised you on that diet. If your nose is crooking this way, maybe over time your face starts to squinch on this side more. You're eating too much of a yin food or a yang food. I can do a video more about this a little bit later. But in that aspect, or with that in mind, wouldn't you think that if you're vibrating properly, if you're energetically in line with the universe, your teeth would probably grow in the way they should, the way that they were intended to, because they are in your mouth for a reason, and they come out at a certain time for a reason. Us eating overly diets too high in meat, too high in processed sugars and refined grains, even especially the chemical and artificial ingredients that are in foods, this is gonna seriously affect the way that your body, face, bones, teeth, everything is shaped and formed and grows the way it grows, especially when kids are eating so bad at such a young age. Throughout this time of your life, this youth and adolescence, if you are not finding this flow and being able to exist within the environment that you're in, your teeth are going to show that when they come through. Your wisdom teeth will show a lack of wisdom. And I'm not trying to say it in like a knowledge sense, more of wisdom might not be the best word for it, but in an energetic sense, a lack of flow with the universe. You're out of alignment with the way that it should have been, or the way that you should be forming. My teeth are impacted, so I'm not trying to say that I am this perfect person eating the way that I should and that I'm aligned up the right way. If your teeth are overly, like way too impacted, then maybe you do need to get them removed. But I just want to say that in my x-ray, my tooth was going like sideways into my other tooth. And then a year later, before I even noticed any of the symptoms, I got another x-ray. And my tooth was like, it was from like pretty much sideways, straight into my other tooth, to being like a little bit curved. And every time that I feel this pain, it's pushing the tooth forward, you know, it's pushing it right back into the place that it should be. Don't get me wrong, they're a little crooked. The ones on the top definitely are not exactly where they probably should be, and neither will the ones on the bottom. However, even though they're so impacted, they're working their way into the right shape. I have been eating a lot healthier now too. which might have a lot to do with it. Maybe your body wouldn't be able to handle the moving of it back into the right way if you weren't trying to find alignment with the universe, if you weren't trying to gain health, but that could have nothing to do with it. This is all part of my theory. Either way, we were born with these teeth for a reason, and I feel if they're not causing too much damage, I can just tough out the week of pain here and there. It's worth it for me to keep my teeth. I feel within me that it's worth it for me to keep my teeth, and that's the reason that I keep them, because they're part of me. So tell me about your wisdom teeth. Do you still have them? Have they started coming in, or did you just get them removed? Or any other crazy stories or tips you have maybe for other people who are going through this wisdom tooth situation? A lot of people I know have gone through it and just don't know about the ways to relieve the pain. So I wanted to make this video to help you guys out. Let me know about your experiences, any tips, tricks, or questions down in the comments below. Subscribe, like, share this video, comment, and hopefully you guys tune in next time. Thank you so much for watching the video. See you soon.